So, good morning. Let us discuss today 23rd December 2015 newspaper. So, with regard to this, the first important article is related to the ongoing DGP's conference in Kutch. So, if you can recollect the previous day's articles, the Prime Minister Modi stressed on improving the community policing, making the police people friendly and technology use, and also making the police to lead to the social media. So in this context, what is the significance for the wider administration this meeting will send to? Here, the interaction between minister and civil servant is very critical for a strong administration. So in this context, Prime Minister Modi's address and spending 3 dedicated days with the DGPs will send a strong message of confidence towards the police bosses. And also, it provides them the necessary direction and an action orientation, because the highest authority in the country is enjoying their confidence that itself is a motivation booster. And also, exchange of communication between the civil services, that is the bureaucracy and minister, and understanding each other's viewpoint, it is very critical for the administration. The very much needed point and action orientation, result orientation is being sent by the Prime Minister over here. So in this context, let us see how the police are being set up in India. Now, police and public order, these are the state subjects. It means that the state government can only take up the necessary procedures under CRPC to arrest and investigate the crime. So in this context, whatever the center does is a supportive role. If paramilitary forces are deployed or CBI is deployed, in all these cases, the center's role is mostly supportive. So in this context, now as systemic crime is increasing, the center's role of coordination is also increasing. So the existing meeting provides for an impetus to this coordination. You can see the paramilitary forces are more and more deployed in the anti-Naxal operations. And also the NIA, National Investigation Agency, actually it is an issue between center and the states, because it is seen as an intervention of the center into the state subjects. So in this context, other than this, the center-state coordination is very much necessary to fight an organized crime that is growing today. So the Prime Minister's discussions with the DGPs is very much in this direction. Now coming to the Rajya Sabha and its relevance. So one thing, Rajya Sabha functionality and Rajya Sabha relevance are two different questions that have wider ramifications, cannot be clubbed together. So the argument which is going on that Rajya Sabha, which is an indirectly elected body, shall not challenge the decisions of directly elected body, is already a concluded discussion in the Constitution Assembly. If we carefully observe the Constitution Assembly discussions, the Rajya Sabha's objective is to protect the people and the nation from the hasty legislations which Lok Sabha can make from the populistic pressures. So that point is very much relevant even for Rajya Sabha's existence today. And the second thing is, the Lok Sabha representing the will of the people also can be contested. For example, we are following a first past the post system. It means there is no guarantee that the party which is ruling the people has the majority of the votes on its side. And Rajya Sabha has to protect the interests of the states in our federation. So it is very much necessary for a country as diverse as India. On coming to the anti-defection law, it was brought in by the Rajiv Gandhi government to prevent the horse trading. So here, in the name of whip of the political parties, I'm curtailing the voice and freedom of speech of the members. It is also discussed in the passage of the bill. But however, the horse trading is much a bigger thing which can destabilize our political system. So in this context, that also appears as a settled discussion. But now coming to the efficiency of functioning of Rajya Sabha, that is Rajya Sabha's productivity, this time only 18% of the time allocated for the question hour is actually used by the Rajya Sabha. So the productivity need to be improved. The frequent disruptions shall be addressed. So in this, The right to protest of the members, right to ask questions by the members shall be retained. At the same time, providing a space for continuous functioning of the Rajya Sabha. So what it is suggested is certain days of a session can be given to the opposition where opposition can determine the agenda of the meeting. In this way, both the things can be accommodated. Added to that, it shows a critical question, the responsibility of the government to reach to the opposition so that a pre-session exercise, a strong pre-session exercise can be done to build the unanimity on passing the various bills or on the legislative work in the parliament. So that consensus and unanimous approach is very much necessary. If you can remember the Prime Minister's words, in a democracy, the politics shall function on the basis of unanimity. If that fails, then only the question of majority comes up. So that is what exactly the government is expected to follow over here. Now, coming to the Juvenile Justice Act. Now, there are many important questions over here. And any juvenile is committing a crime. The major reason for his crime is abuse, poverty, lack of care, etc. So, what we have to do to him? We have to punish for the society's failure, or we need to reform him. So, the Juvenile Justice Act gives the priority for the reform, rehabilitation and reintegration of the child. Reform, rehabilitation and reintegration of the child. So here the major challenge is this. For example, in the existing Nirbhaya case, so once a juvenile was sent to the jail, so a rehabilitation committee has to be created, and this rehabilitation committee has to provide or take his interest into cognizance and provide an alternate plan for his livelihood. In India, no such an active mechanism is existing, the Rehabilitation Management Committee or something. They are not existing. Even they are existing, they are non-functional. The second thing is the media attention and the social exclusion, vigilant justice and ongoing poverty obviously will push him towards the crime again. So, it is the responsibility of the society to prevent them from doing the further crimes. So, here, whose responsibility is to provide for a strong rehabilitation mechanism? So, under the juvenile justice law, it is the state who has took the responsibility. So, the state's failure is pushing these people towards the committing of crimes again. So, is strengthening the law, is it a solution? So, instead of that, we have to strengthen these three processes, that is reform, rehabilitation and reintegration into the society. And the society will be judged how its criminals are being punished, one thing, and also they are being reformed. So especially in the case of the child culprits, this is going to be much important. Further to this, now when a heinous crime is involved, we have to verify the mental status of the child. Probably might have went through a severe abuse as a child. So, but in India, no such a mental health program or consistent mental health care, comprehensive and long-term mental health care exists for these children who are involved with the heinous crime. So, it means we are failing on the reform front. Now, coming to the Spain's voting system, we know that in the Spain, Podemos, the leftist party is gaining significance. Now, within a very short span, it is able to gain a huge attention of the voters. After the crisis has started, Spain is also part of the PIGS economy. The PIGS stand for, one of the country, S stands for Spain over here. The Greece, Italy, Portugal and Spain. So, austerity measures were suggested, and because of this austerity, the unemployment rate was peaking and young people are very much disinterested with the ongoing government of Popular Party. The re-elections conducted and divided verdict has come up and a hung parliament has come up in the Spain. So the Popular Party won 123 and the Workers' Party won only 19. So these are the major stream political parties. On the other hand, Podemos and Citizen Party, they have showed their existence in this particular elections. So one thing is how the Syria is going. Is it going in the Greece direction? or is in the Syria, sorry, not Syria, Spain. Spain is in the right direction. This is what is the question which is posed by the article. Next is the Modi's visit to Moscow. Now, let us see the background to this. If you have seen the last week's articles, one is Moscow now is supplying the arms to the Pakistan, which it never did. And also there is a $2 billion of gas supply between Russia and Pakistan. And on the other hand, Russia and China, they have the technology transfer agreements to strengthen the Chinese Navy. So this all shows that the Russia, once a trusted partner to India, is shifting its loyalty somewhere. So probably it is because India appears to be moving more too close towards the United States of America. Now the Prime Minister Modi's visit to Russia probably is going to change the situation. Now carefully observe, the Prime Minister is about to sign more than $10 billion of defense agreements with Russia. These include Talwar class stealth frigates, S-400 Triumph air defense system, medium lift helicopters, that is Mi-17, and Kamo utility helicopters. These are the things which we are going to buy. Added to that, we already agreed on jointly developing the 5th generation aircrafts. So the best part of this is, as per the Make in India initiative, the Indian companies are also involved in the joint ventures with the Russian companies to produce these weapons. So in this context, involvement of our private sector is one positive step. And Prime Minister Modi and President Putin, they are also going to talk about Syria, because both of them have a common stand on Syria. That is, the solution to Syria is through diplomatic and political means, through an intra-Syrian dialogue. So that is very much stressed by both the countries, so they have a solution or a common ground over here. And another issue is Afghanistan. So already Afghanistan, after Ghani has come into power, it started moving close to Pakistan and China. China is mediating the ongoing negotiations in Pakistan, or peace talks in Pakistan, where, peace talks in Afghanistan, where Pakistan is acting as a major, playing a major role. So the good Taliban, bad Taliban issue, all these things. So Afghanistan is also going to come into their discussions. Next is Madhesi's reject the governmental proposal. So what is the governmental proposal? So a committee will be constituted on redrafting the boundaries. The Madhesi's demand is they want to have a separate province for them. And the second is there shall be a proportional representation to their population. And third is amendment of the citizenships and related laws. So all this government said it will take a look. But however, there are no definite promises are being given. That's why Madhesis are still not accepting this. So exports are falling in India. Now here there are two concerns. One is, if the exports are falling because of growing uncompetitiveness of India, that is very much worrisome. So the World Bank recent report says that the India's share in the global exports is decreasing and they are becoming uncompetitive. Now there is another scenario going, because most of the commodity prices are coming down, especially the oil, gold, etc. Previously India used to act as an intermediary. It used to import the petroleum and lubricants, refine them and used to export them. So as the prices of these commodities are falling, so the value which India is able to add in this country is also decreasing. The similar case is with the gems and jewelry. So in this is what is the argument of the Ministry of Commerce. On the other side, the Finance Ministry also said India may lose 1% of the growth because of this export drag, especially the fall in exports. So the Commerce Ministry says the general fall in the global demand is the reason for export fall. So India need not be worried. But World Bank report and Arvind Subramanian's word on export drag, these are a cause of concern for India. Now the current account gap is increasing or has widened in India, but it is not alarming. But however, fall in exports can be said as a major reason for this, which we already discussed. So now coming to thermal plants have to go green. So as per our INDCs, we have to take forward the thermal energy on a green scale. So in this context, from 2017, the thermal power plants, they have to reduce their particulate emissions by 40% and water usage by half. So in this context, a previous question is this: what are the emissions from the thermal power plants, what it consists of? So you can easily answer that question if you read this article. The particulate matter, it has to be reduced by 40%. In this context, the 30 mg is the upper limit which is allowed for cubic meter, and sulfur and nitrous oxide, they are allowed for 100 mg, and mercury 0.03 mg. These are the permitted levels by 2030. So India has made a commitment that it will limit its carbon or else energy dependence, that is thermal energy dependence, from 60% to 57% by 2030. It may appear small now, but if you observe, by 2013, India's target is to raise its energy from existing 260 gigawatts to the 800 gigawatts. If you take 800 gigawatts, this reduction appears significant. So these are the important articles today. Thank you very much and all the best.